Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for this presentation. My name is Amara Rivers, and today I'm going to talk about abortion ban and what that means for women and propose an intervention to alleviate this problem. Alright, so the agenda for this meeting today, I'm going to go over a problem statement, the description of the issue, proposed interventions, proposed evaluation, potential challenges and barriers that we'll face with the intervention, the partners, a logic model I've created, and then the references for all materials discussed in this presentation. So our problem statement. Following the overturn of Roe v. Wade, many southern states, such as Mississippi and Louisiana, have put into effect trigger laws that make abortion illegal. Women in these southern states are losing the right to choose and losing access to safe, affordable abortion care. This could mean more women will experience serious medical complications during pregnancy and childbirth, especially women of color and women living in low-income communities. There's some clarity about those things. Right now, the mortality rate for women, there's 30 women who die for every 100,000 of unsafe abortions. For morbidity, 42 million women a year choose abortion for unintended pregnancies. The risk factors here are women experiencing economic hardship or insecurity. The population that this most affects are going to be women of childbearing age and women with unintended pregnancies. And as I said, especially women of color and women living in low-income communities will be affected by this because low-income and or women of color are more affected by unintended pregnancy. Lack of access to safe abortions will disproportionately affect these women. So a brief description of our issue when we're looking at the socio-ecological model at the individual level. The things that help the issue would be knowledge of abortion laws, and things that hinder would be low degree of autonomy. At the individual level, it's important for someone to be aware of abortion laws in their state, i.e. more restrictive abortion laws lead to higher maternal and infant mortality. So what hinders it is low degree of autonomy. At the individual level, a low degree of autonomy can lead to permissive abiding, which can lead to unwanted pregnancies, going to term, birth, infant mortality, and then maternal morbidity and mortality rates rising. At the interpersonal level, something that helps this issue as it relates to abortion access would be knowledge and supportive providers. Abortion care services and supportive, knowledgeable providers are important at the interpersonal level. Something that hinders would be lack of social support or increased stigma regarding abortion services. If an individual lacks social support in making the choice for abortion, it can lead to poor maternal and infant outcomes. At the organizational level, one factor that helps to promote public health as it relates to abortion access would be organizational abortion care benefits. So post Roe v. Wade, many organizations and companies have moved to provide abortion care benefits to include transportation costs for those living in restrictive states such as Mississippi and in Louisiana. Something that hinders this abortion access would be health insurance not covering abortion services. So it's highly important and to know that out-of-pocket costs for abortion services are out of reach for many women living in low-income communities. And so without that help of insurance, women will not seek care. At the community level, something that helps promote public health as it relates to abortion access would be media coverage about abortion access and abortion rights. There are simply two sides to the media coverage that is out there, that is pro-choice or pro-life. This factor could be a double-edged sword, where one media outlet will have language supporting abortion access and the other will not. So at the community level, having media coverage that supports abortion access can help reduce that stigma. Something that hinders it at the community level would be restrictive state organizations. So this is restrictive organizations and those who strongly oppose the right to choose can hinder women's ability to make the decision for abortion and can lead to higher maternal mortality. At the policy level, something that helps to promote public health as it relates to abortion access would be policies illustrating abortion as a human right. So pro-choice policies, agendas serve as widespread support for abortion access, and it will also help to reduce the stigma. Something that hinders it would be restrictive conservative policy. So we see this directly with restrictive states and trigger laws, as I've discussed with Louisiana and Mississippi. So some proposed interventions that we have. We can conduct comprehensive research on current legal and policy landscapes surrounding safe abortions to get that information to journalists who will then put it into the news media to, like I said, reduce stigma, have people aware of the evidence-based knowledge that is out there around safe abortions. Number 2 would be engage with healthcare providers to understand challenges and barriers in providing those safe abortion services. So in these trigger state laws, abortion providers are being legally reprimanded for offering abortion services. And so it would be important to understand their side of things and gather that information. Number 3, collaborate with advocacy groups to raise awareness about safe abortions and advocate for policy change. Number 4, develop and promote through the media evidence-based policy recommendations to expand access to safe abortions. The proposed evaluation for these interventions to determine if they're working, if they're being implemented correctly, would be survey administration through the REDCap database. So data will be obtained pre and post interventions. Successful implementation will include the following outcomes. So increased knowledge among policymakers about the current state of safe abortions, increased knowledge among individuals and community members about safe abortions, improved understanding of the safety, efficacy, and public health implications of safe abortions within 6 months of implementing those interventions, increased awareness and support for expanding access to safe abortion services, increase the individuals and community members accessing evidence-based resources on safe abortions, and adoption of evidence-based policy recommendations by policymakers within 3 months of implementing the intervention. So potential challenges and barriers that we might face would be high costs, legal restrictions, and stigma. Some possible solutions for these would be seeking funding from multiple organizations, identifying legal restrictions and consulting an attorney, promote destigmatizing language, and some collaborative points would be just communication, problem solving, and support. The partners, everyone that we will need to have on our team in order to implement this intervention would be journalists and other news media personnel, of course, policymakers, public health professionals like clinic staff and abortion care providers and advocacy groups. And so my role in this is as a public health nurse. And here is the logic model that I have put together for our intervention. That includes our inputs of our task force, so our policymakers, public health professional, advocacy groups, news media professionals, the grant funding from various foundations, collaboration with the healthcare providers, advocacy groups, policymakers, access to relevant peer-reviewed research on safe abortions. Some of the activities will be conducting comprehensive research on current legal and policy landscapes surrounding safe abortions, engage with healthcare providers to understand challenges and barriers to providing safe abortion services, collaborate with advocacy groups to raise awareness about safe abortions and advocate for policy change, develop and promote the media evidence-based policy recommendations to expanding access to safe abortions, research, and some of our outputs will be research reports on legal and policy landscape of safe abortions, literature review and evidence-based summaries on the safety and efficacy of safe abortions, meetings with healthcare providers, advocacy groups, journalists, and policymakers, and policy briefs and fact sheets on the importance of safe abortions and potential policy reforms given to the news and media outlets and journalists. Some of our short-term outcomes will be, like I said on the previous slide, increased knowledge and among policymakers about the current state rate of safe abortions, increased knowledge among individuals and community members about safe abortions, improved understanding of the safety, efficacy, and public health implications of safe abortions within 6 months of implementing the intervention, increased awareness and support for expanding access to safe abortion services, increased in individuals and community members accessing evidence-based resources on safe abortions, adoption of evidence-based policy recommendations by policymakers within 3 months of implementing interventions. And then the impact would be improved access to safe abortions for individuals seeking reproductive health care, increased availability of safe abortion services, reduction in unsafe abortions and related complications, improved reproductive health outcomes for individuals, including reduced maternal mortality and morbidity. Here are some of the resources and references that I've used. And I just want to say again, thank you for listening to this presentation, and I hope that we can work together to solve this problem. Thank you.